Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto Was a Prodigy, who awakened his true potential. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Left the Village and went down the path of pain, and enjoy that guys. And over in Making 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Half Kryptonian and Half Saiyan. And over in Making 2, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was an outcast Uchiha in the time of his Sanins. So go ahead and enjoy those guys. If you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Yes, you heard that correctly, every single day guys. And also, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post What If on every other day for you guys to enjoy. Sometime more than 3, and yeah. So, without further ado, what do you say, without wasting any more time, we leap right into this new episode, guys. Begin the intro. So the last time we left off, the group arrived to Wave. As they went up against Zabuza, but he ended up surviving because of his apprentice that was with him. As Naruto could distinguish between the chakra surface, so he could tell that the person in the bloodline, their chakra was extremely cold. As he told Kakashi about this, there was a good chance that Zabuza was still alive, so they made extra precautions. When the day finally came, as Naruto had his clones transform into Inari and Tsunami and had them be captured, he wanted the situation to look genuinely real. As he faced off against Haku with his clone, when Zabuza was about to die, Haku was losing it, as he would give his all just to save his master. Even Sasuke felt the emotions, the raw, selfless emotions that he would give everything, as he felt just like this guy. He also was about to lose himself in his revenge, but he didn't want it to end up this way as Naruto clone exploded and killed him. As Naruto saw it as well, as he looked up on the scene, he had ended many people's life, many horrible people, but people like Haku didn't deserve this fate, as they didn't deserve it at all. As Naruto went into a killing spree and eradicated the bandits, showing that it was just a trick, that the real Tsunami and Inari were somewhere safe. With that, their mission was complete, however, it ended on a solemn tone. It took some while for them to head back to the village, and when Naruto headed back, he noticed a change in his eyes, the Mangekyou. Some time passed after that. Team 7 had went on at least 5 C-rank missions so far, as Naruto was currently in the process of testing out his new eyes, as he placed his capture under his Tsukuyomi, convincing the man that he was a literal god. As the man bought into his propaganda and told Naruto what he needed to know. However, the man's mind was broken after Naruto was finished, as he ended the man suffering the kunai to the head. Upon arriving back to the village, it just goes to show how deep the relationship between Team 7 had gotten. They'd become quite good friends over the time, even Sakura going as far to lay her head on Naruto's shoulder as they waited for Sasuke to use his Sharingan to get the information out of the man. As Naruto had not revealed anything yet though, but his team was coming along quite well. As that was going on, the Chunin exams were coming up. Kakashi was called in front of the Hokage and the other higher council members. Kakashi has been watching Naruto as it had come to snag the attention that something was up and Naruto was hiding something great. However, Naruto said that he would not show it until he was out in public, and it seems like the Chunin exams was what he was counting on. It seems like he was afraid that Konoha might try to abused their higher authority power to try and spread this bloodline, and he wouldn't allow it to be so. But Tsunade was quite angry about that, but she couldn't really force him to do anything so much without really knowing what it was, as Naruto had proved himself to be one of the greatest genin of his time. Team 7 has gone on to perform wonders, and it wouldn't look good for them to be, well, pressuring the younger generation. As for Naruto, he was wondering about his eyes. His grandfather Madara was one of the first to awaken the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, as he wondered if it was the genes that passed down to him, allowing him to awaken the eyes so quickly. The pain that his grandfather went through upon losing his brother was something that Naruto never experienced. However, he awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, and so far he wasn't having any trouble with his eyesight, so he wasn't sure what was going on there, as he had no idea what was going on, as he wondered if it could be just as simple as the bloodline from Madara running down into him. That is why his eyes were so advanced. He didn't know. So yeah guys, it's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the play, check it out for yourself, and yeah, what do you say we leap right into this new episode, guys? We begin this episode at Kumo. The Raikage stood in front of the Jonin for the genin team that he was about to send, the only one, and two other elite Jonins in the office. His main point of concern was Yujito, 16-year-old, and she was also the Jinjuriki of the Nebe. The only reason why this team had not been promoted to Chunin yet was because they were refused entry into the Chunin exams due to a spiteful side of Konoha. Because of the debacle some years ago with the kidnapping incident, any mission that Kumo came across with Konoha usually ended up turning out vicious. He didn't want to send them and anything happening to them before they were prepared. It was only a year ago that talks between them had become neutral. I'll be blunt, he said. There's one team leak from Konoha that is concerning, he said, as he looked up towards the members in his office, as he turned towards Mabe, as she listed off said team. Kakashi Hatake has taken on 3 students. Even the weakest of his students has excelled under his tutelage. Haruna Sakura, age 12, civilian born, but according to elite documents, she is currently under evaluation to determine if she can be a candidate for apprenticeship under the 5th Hokage Tsunade Senju. As the Genins look towards each other in shock, 12? And being considered for apprenticeship under the Hokage? Sasuke Uchiha, age 12, only survivor of the Uchiha incident, younger brother of known extract missing name Itachi Uchiha. Records show that he awoke the Sharingan during his graduation exam and has shown experienced use in it from the teachings of his sensei. The boy have proven prodigious and resourceful. His master of the Sharingan grows, also his arsenal of ninjutsu. If he is even as half as talented as his sensei and brother, it will prove extremely difficult to counter him. Yujito crossed her arms. Neither of them sound that bad. They're talented, we get it. We still have 3 years on them. Do not underestimate potential enemies, Ace said. Mabe spoke up before Yujito can complain once again. The main point of concern is this boy, as she pulled a photo of the academy graduation. Oi, gimme. As Karui snatched it, she seemed rather impressed by his looks. Uzumaki and Naruto, age 12, Darui, C, and Samui all look rather alarmed at the word Uzumaki, as the Genins noticed that, known to have fought 6 Konoha Chunins at once, and one with only taijutsu, he possessed unnaturally potent chakra, which is believed to nearly match a Hokage in density and capacity. He is known to use advanced fire and wind jutsus, as well as the forbidden Shadow Jutsu, of which he can perform to a degree that outclass elite shinobis within the Leaf Village. You want us to avoid this crazy strong guy, Amoy said, as he rolled a lollipop in his mouth. Darui answered for his Genin, already knowing the mystery around Kakashi's student. It's not just a matter of avoiding him. He may actively decide to come after you if he notices your presence. Is he some bloodthirsty killer? Karui asked. That remains to be seen, said Mabe. But if the boy is aware of the history between Kumo and the Uzumaki clan, he may very well single you out for that reason alone. The history doesn't really reflect that much on the youngest people in the room, but they seem a bit too nervous to ask what was the history. As A got to his feet and faced the window, as he peered over his village, decisions made by him and his peers over the last couple of years had terribly affected Kumo, and his people were struggling because of it. Dissatisfaction with his leadership is at an all-time high, so any plotting that should be done will have to be to fix their image. We can't afford to not send a skill team this year, A said. Samui, who has been silent so far, spoke up. Our daimyo in his office has been given many missions to neighboring nations. Our geographical location already make it hard to obtain missions outside of Kaminari no Kuni. The Third Reich had yet attempted to fix this 40 years ago by creating an alliance to attack the #1 village who was accepting all these missions. The purpose of the attack was simple: destroy Konoha #1 ally, reobtain these mission contracts that were being sent to Uzu, and destroy the Uzumaki clan that was said to rival and in some ways surpass the Uzumaki and Senju clan. The aftermath objective was to obtain surviving members of the Uzumaki clan for Kumo, but so far, every attempt has failed miserably. We must set the example that Kumo shinobis are capable, said C. The destruction of Uzu was a severe hit on our reputation, but it served for the greater good of returning those contracts. The lasting effect on our reputation has not ceased, however, and we no longer have a leg to stand on. We cannot take the same immoral choice by attacking another nation again. If we commit another genocide, it will be the end for our village. As Samui continued, Konoha waged war against all the 3 nations that attacked Uzu. We had the element of surprise going up against Uzu, with 2 other nations backing us, and we still almost lost. The fearsome reputation of the Uzumaki clan was well earned. We were also not expecting Konoha to retaliate, but they did so by taking on Kumo, the Stone, and Kiri all at once. They used vast networks of spies, collaboration, hidden jutsus, and with extraordinary shinobis like Minato the Mikaze and the Sanins, they won. Uzu was a small nation, remote of only 1 clan, and 3 nations were almost destroyed by taking them down, and with the close relationship they share. As A continued for her, Tsunade Senju is a descendant of the first Hokage. Hoshirama Senju was given Mito Uzumaki hand in marriage for a goodwill alliance between Uzu and the Senjus. This make Tsunade part Uzumaki, and you guarantee that a woman as vicious as her has not forgotten what we done. That much was proven after our attempt to kidnap the Haiga heiress. And before that, one Kushina Uzumaki was sent to Konoha before the destruction of her village. We attempted to abduct her as well, but she killed 19 of her captors before she was rescued by Minato no Mikaze. The remaining member of that squad was tortured by her before being released. He had to make his way back to a spy hideout before giving his report, and he ended up killing himself from the trauma. Kushina was the only living Uzumaki in Konoha at this time, so it's likely that Naruto Uzumaki is her son. The 3 Genins look rather nervous at that. This is starting to sound like suicide, said Yujito. Kumo's reputation must be rebuilt from the ground up, said Samui. Ordinarily, we wouldn't divulge this kind of information, least to Genin. However, we need you to have the best conceivable chance of making it to the round that your fighting powers will be visible to all feudal lords and looking higher in shinobis. You 3 are the strongest Genins in the village, and we can't risk sending any more teams when we're already struggling. If we send weaker teams, they might be hunted just for sport, and it will look poorly on Kumo that only 1 team survived out of our many capable shinobis. We only tell you this information so you understand how much in danger you are, and not only just you, how the rest of Kumo will be looking if we do not compete. We need at least 1 team to test the waters, as it's our first reappearance in the exam since the Hyuga incident. I would have liked to keep the sparks about that buried, but we're in the process of dying slowly in the night. We need to have a strong public team. Any later in daimyo might just hand off the rest of our contracts. To everyone in the room, the message was clear. They don't have a choice. It was for the good of the village. They're supposed to compete, not knowing if a monster was going to be hunting them. Yujido felt frustration and hatred bubble up inside of her. How could she be expected to serve this village when such horrible crimes had just been admitted to her? Calm down, a feminine voice said in her head. She did, but the resolute on her teammate faces disgusted her. We can speak later. This may yet provide an opportunity to you, the nimby voice said in her head once again. You're dismissed, Ace said as he sat down. The genin leave and the Raikai is left with his closest Jonins. It is rather suspicious that this information is leaked from Konoha. Not only that, but how detailed the information is. Almost like it came directly from a personal record, said Samui. This is a bribe, I think, said Darui. Whoever leaked this information on our spy outposts wants us to join in on their operation of hindering Konoha. This new villages is directly attacking Konoha infrastructure and trade partners. We will act only at the last moment, and no sooner, said A. Only if Konoha destruction is guaranteed. If not, we leave, as if nothing is happening. This is too delicate of a time to be placed in our fate in a clumsy plan like this. They nodded. Meanwhile, as Yujido stood in front of the Nibbiner seal, your home is bringing about its own destruction, and you might be too powerless to stop it. I don't want to hear, said Yujido. Monotabe acknowledged a careful I don't want to, meaning that for reasons she still did. Indeed, I understand for reasons humans. They always desire a home. My father was an unusual human, but even he desired the security and peacefulness of mind that a home provides, not only for him but for all of his children. What's that got to do with anything, Monotabe? Yujido asked. Patience, my dear. What I'm about to tell you is not an easy choice, and it would not make you happy. You have broken the shell of indoctrination that this village had on my previous hosts, and it's only right to tell you that you do not owe this nation anything. The boy from that photograph, he bears a strong resemblance to the one that could control all of us, without being a Jinjuliki. My father was a loving man. He loved all of humanity despite their flaws, but he loved his children more than anything. His human children were no exceptions. His offsprings were the ones that created Konoha, and it seems they live on strong even till this very day. Yujido, that nation will never fall. It may be burned to the ground and attacked several times over, but they will always rebuild. The sons of the sage will never fall. Actions against them will only incur the hatred that they have against us. Monotabe, what are you saying? That I just let Kumo destroy itself and go and live my own life? You heard for yourself what the Uchihas and Senjus did to those people that murder their own. Even while branded a traitor, you'll be safe in the arms of that village. Treason? Said Yujido, as she vanished. But Monotabe knew that her words would sink in her head soon enough. She was her favorite human, and she wanted her to be happy. That's all she wanted. It took her 1,000 years to reach this point, but she has truly grown different from her father. Monotabe is her own being, and she makes her own decisions, regardless of what philosophy Hagoromo passed down to them. These villages will never get along. Meanwhile, in Kiri, Mei glared at the flippant Mizukagi. He had grown a handbit, disinterest in the life of his subordinates over the past 2 years. Just send a handful of the weak ones, and we'll call it a day, He said in a chuckle, not seeing the problem here. Yagura was nothing like this when he first stepped in as Mizukagi. He had been an earnest young man, full of aspirations and hope for a better Kiri. Despite being a Jinjuliki, he was a bright and loving person. For reasons unknown to them, his moral code vanished. He sent bloodline users on reckless suicide missions, and he agreed to the brutal, murderous genin exams. Many in here felt like if he did not regain his sense very soon, there will be a civil war. Officials believe foul play, that Yagura is being manipulated but yet to find proof. Even with the assistance of a dojutsu, whatever was affecting Yagura was at a deeper level that not even a dojutsu could see. And if the Byakugan could not see deep enough into a person's chakra that they could see Biju manipulation, then nothing could. Don't glare at me like that. If they are strong enough to live, then they will. As Mei's stare intensified, she had already gone through the leak documents of this fearful team from Konoha, and yet Yagura didn't seem to care in the slightest. She stormed out and slammed the door behind her. Yagura chuckled once again, and the voice didn't seem like his anymore. As his right eye flickered red. It really is a shame, isn't it? Kiri has brought this upon themselves. Perhaps they shouldn't be so quick to anger those that are stronger than them. It's retribution, really. Yagura nodded to himself his own thoughts. Had never failed him before. Meanwhile, in the stone, just send someone, old man. Oniki had refused to send any genuine team after this Uzumaki boy had been revealed. He knew that this exam would be a waste of good blood. The boy's description matched those of a Uzumaki, ability and traits. But the boy is not as cut as dry as a only Uzumaki. No means no, Kurosaki. Now stop your complaining and go do something productive. It's better that she stay here while that monster spawn was lurking in Konoha. Meanwhile, in the land of grass. What's that name? Karen thought to herself. Uzumaki. Every time she tried to think about it, it was like a wall in her mind was blocking her thoughts from getting through. As someone stepped in the room, as agreed, you will enter the exam as our genin. Zosui, her handler, spoke as someone was right beside her, a tall female with a rather long tongue. Much obliged, she said. Karen resisted the urge to pick the scabs on her arms. She's scared, but she knew it was a nervous tick. It would only make her wounds worse, and she just didn't want to turn all that mom. Let's go, the leader for her team said. She got to her feet. All she ever wanted was to just be happy, however. Things never seemed to go her way. Meanwhile, back in Konoha, Naruto set to master his Mangekyo Sharingan in the privacy of his grandfather's hideout. After reminiscing about his mother, he felt strangely attached to the idea of being able to use her adamantine chains. He didn't possess any scrolls or memories that were pushing him in the right direction, so he was going off error and trials. The walls of the hideout are completely covered in seals that prevent his chakra from being detected on the outside. Originally they were maintained by Madara, but following his death, the seals disappeared, and Naruto was forced to learn how to place them himself. Madara learned how to perform it from his wife, and the Uzumaki clan passed down that knowledge to Naruto. Time skip. Team 7 made their way through the academy halls, with Sasuke at the lead, being told by their sensei that they need to hold themselves back and help out the weaker genins in their age group. Put a damper on their spirit. Sakura felt internally disappointed as well. She has grown incredibly confident ever since being taken under Kakashi's wing, and she did not hesitate when the chance came to join the exam. When Naruto suggested that they set some new records, she was in full agreement. Their sensei had been sympathetic. He ultimately explained that the majority of their genins were clan heirs, who were still important to the village as a whole because of their signature clan jutsus. The more people performing signature clan techniques, the more good their team would be in the scheme of the village. Weak they might be, but they were still stronger than the average genin team. Sasuke was pissed off. It wasn't his fault that they did not put in hard work. It wasn't his fault that they were weak. This was a competition. However, Naruto was a bit more in tune with the bigger picture, as he cooled Sasuke off. Team 7 was, well, they were freaks of nature, who were clearly more powerful than the other teams. He followed it up to say that the clan heirs should not be complete if they require help. However, they do pose potential for the future. Maybe their parents were the ones that were pushing them to compete, to wise them up to what being a shinobi is. As Sakura believed that it wasn't even their faults. It was probably their teachers instead. She didn't know where she would be if it wasn't for Kakashi Sensei. But she would see how the other teams stack up when she saw them. You there, please wait. Sakura saw another Konoha team. A boy with thick eyebrows, a Hyuga, and a girl with buns in her hair. Sasuke increased his pace, ignoring the guy in green. He must be talking to someone else. After 6 months she understood that Sasuke was, well, he really stopped for people in the streets that were trying to, well, speak to him much. And also some people believed that if they were above the Uchiha, they had this sense of superiority. As the guy stepped in front of Sasuke, but Naruto pushed him out of the way. Uchiha-sama will not be taking questions at this time. You may direct your inquiry to his agent, Kakashi Hatake. Now move along, young man. Sakura could not help the snicker that came from her lips. Just leave them alone, Lee, the girl with the bun in her hair said. The Hyuga stepped in this time. My apology for my teammate, he can be quite eccentric. I am Neji Hyuga. The one in the green is Rock Lee, and she is Tenten. Yo, said Tenten. Nice to meet you, said Sakura. It was then that Sakura noticed Naruto frown at the Hyuga for some reason. What Lee was trying to get at was that as fellow Konoha Genins, it will be nice to watch each other back throughout the exam. There are more participants than ever before, and it will be wise to team up if they try to team up against us, said Neji. As Sasuke and Sakura turned towards Naruto, his gaze was becoming a bit unnerving to the other Genin. His clan is scared that Kumo Genins are going to try and make another attempt for the Byakugan, said Naruto. And it seems like he's clued in why I want to team up as well. Neji looked sheepish at that. Well, that's one way to put it. Yes, the Hyuga clan has expressed concern that unscrupulous factions that are competing at this time won't be able to behave themselves. I was also told of the criminal history against the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki clan? Sakura mouthed to Sasuke, but he seemed unsure as well. You don't seem as stuck up as the other Hyuga, said Sasuke as he looked towards Neji. The influence of my father, I assure you, said Neji, with a calm, disarming smile. Well, I don't see why not. Sakura looked towards Naruto, deferring to him as the co-factor leader of the team. No. As the group was surprised. No? As Naruto turned and walked away, his teammates are puzzled, but they went after him. Lee flashed in front of Naruto. I dislike it when geniuses underestimate others. Presumptuous of you to believe that we're underestimating you, said Naruto as he looked down towards Lee, as he was a bit taller than him. Then why do you protest against the alliance? Do you somehow believe that we would hold you back? Do not put words in my mouth. We are not obligated to give you an answer either, said Naruto. As Sakura realized that Naruto would be probably more cooperative if they hadn't annoyed him, the information getting out that they would have to support other Konoha teams would make Konoha look really bad. That their Genins were not cutting it. So for them to be saying that out here in the public where other teams were, Naruto had to refuse. Let's just go, Sasuke said, annoyed by the whole thing. And once he was annoyed, the arrogance seeped into his tone. Lee didn't seem to like that as his shoulders stiffened a bit. As Naruto's eyes turned towards the boy, he raised a leg, sending a kick towards Sasuke, but someone appeared and grabbed the kick as they punched him away. Guy Sensei, said Tenten. Guy turned to Team 7 as the man turned with a big smile and a thumbs up. Kakashi Genins, he said. It's wonderful to know that my eternal rival had taught such disciplined students. Yes, said Sakura, weirded out by how similar he was to his student. I must exercise my own discipline on my misbehaving Genins. You must hurry along. Kakashi is waiting for you. And without a word, he made his way and picked up Lee, as Neji and Tenten went after him. What the hell? That was all Sakura could say. They meet with Kakashi some moments later, who told them that they couldn't compete if one of them did not show up, as he told them to help out the other Genins. There was no one around, so it was okay, as he gave them a slip of paper to which seat they would be sitting in, as Naruto asked if they could just sabotage the clan heir so they wouldn't compete, making the man eye smile as they made their way in the room. As the group stepped into said room, all eyes turned towards them. The recognition sprang up on their faces, like these people know who he was, and Sasuke and Sakura as well. Their killer intent rolled in on them, and Naruto had to say, it was truly pathetic. But Sakura trembled beside him. Her chakra is disturbed at all of them, blasting their killer intent on her at once. Sasuke is unnerved, but he handled it better than your teammate does. One or two teams Sakura could probably handle, but all of them directing their killer intent towards her. It surely pissed Naruto off a lot. She did not know these people and they were already trying to place fear in her system, especially while standing beside him. It seems like these bunch of children did not know who the hell they were glaring at. Uchiha over to the side saw the pink-haired girl trapped first, as she joined in with her own killer intent. This is not a good idea. Do not provoke that boy, Nibi said. Chunin exams are team missions. If one of them leave, then we won't have to deal with a group, said Uchiha. It scared her that this Naruto Uzumaki is unaffected by all of it, but if they can make the girl back down. The ground underneath Naruto started to creak. As Uchiha saw it, it literally ripped apart as she felt it. Not only her though, as Naruto released true killer intent upon them. She swallowed thickly as she realized the ground break from just him releasing his chakra, and it hadn't hit her yet. But then it did. She felt her entire body seize up, her body refusing to breathe. The sense to run the hell out of there was so great, as she felt her very being trembling. She broke out in a cold sweat. I warn you, Yujito. Karen over to the side did not know how to use killer intent, but she sure knew how to sense it being used. The monster Genin released far more than what they gave to him. She felt the chakra. It passed around her though. It did not affect her like the others, as it seemed to be poking her to test if she was actually real. She looked up as she realized she was the only one that was not affected by the display of power. As she looked around, except for the imposter from the Sound Village, and the guy with the gourd on his back from the sand. Everyone else was being affected by it. The Sound Ninja had stick their tongue out and licked it, rather happily. The guy with the gourd seemed to be almost frothing from the mouth. Figure that two unstable freak would not sense imminent danger, but Karen sure did. Some of them were struggling to breathe. But why is it not hurting her? She did not understand as she looked up towards him. He was looking directly at her. Their eyes met. Before anything could be done, there was a poof at the front of the room, as the scar guy walked over and placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. In an instant, the killer intent vanishes. It's funny, said Naruto, how you step in now? Where were you a moment ago when my teammate was being assaulted by this foreign trash? I don't want my exam ruined before it even begins. Now find your seats. That wasn't really an explanation. I don't see how that's my problem, said Naruto. Maybe I'll give them a little more, to thin out the weaklings so you don't have to. The Genins in the room recoiled when they heard him said that, as that made him smirk. If you do, I will disqualify you. Now take your seat, Genin. Come on, Naruto, said Sakura. She tugged at his shirt, pulling him away from there, as she whispered in his ear. Thank you, Naruto, she said. See you once we finish the stage, he nodded to her, as they took their assigned seats. Sasuke looked like he wanted to say something, but he seemed to be saving it for later as he just nodded, and separated as well, as Naruto felt several peculiar chakra types on his way to his seat. The two that stand out the most must be Jinchuriki's. How exciting! The thought of fighting and defeating a Jinchuriki for the first display of his power would be truly one to go down in the ages. They would be useful tools to get his name up there as a natural deterrent, but there were two others that intrigue him as well. One of them is unlike any normal human being. It pretends to be normal, however. Chakra doesn't grow like that by any normal means. As he glanced towards the grass, Kunoichi. And then there was a girl with red hair. She was from Madara memories, an Uzumaki. She was a part of his clan. It seems like she noticed him as well. He would have to see her as soon as possible. She was family, and he wouldn't let anyone get in his way, even if he had to take on the entire hidden grass. Time skip. Naruto caught on rather quickly to the exam, as he easily understand what to do. However, the thing was, sitting back and just waiting for the time to pass out, as he knew that the purpose was to break them, to make them fall under pressure. That was, well, boring to him, and he knew that Team 7 would not fall, as he thought about what if one day he couldn't use his Sharingan for any meaningless task that he would normally use it for. He wanted to see if he could cheat without using the eyes. He invented a ninjutsu on the spot. He failed several times to get it to work first, but he wasn't caught. It then finally worked. Mutual substitution technique. Instead of using himself as a replacer, he would use two separate objects. After training in his adamantine chains, he has gained better control, given that the whole point of that technique was to use your chakra outside of your body to create objects. As he reached out to another object, same like how one would use a log to substitute themselves with, as he imprinted that object with his chakra. The chakra is very thin and not visible to non-dojutsu wielders, as he imprinted his own paper, before he swapped with someone a few feet ahead of him, that being Rock Lee. The look on the Genin face was rather amusing, as the only thing he saw was a blank paper with a drawing of Naruto face on it, which was rather amusing. The next proctor came in with an explosive flare, as the group found themselves at Train Ground 44 after passing the first test. The proctor was trying to cover them out by showing them all that the forest could offer, dangerous and horrible things. Pathetic, stated Naruto, as he turned towards Sasuke. What's up, he said, as he knew that he wanted to ask him something. I want to know about the Uzumaki clan, he said. That has been bugging him ever since he heard about it. Damn it. That stupid Hyuga had to go and run his mouth. Sakura is clearly interested as well, after being reminded about it, but saving him from trouble was the unusual Genin from the grass. He couldn't tell if it was male or female, but the voice sounded female, but something didn't tell him that was female. Oh my, the Uzumaki clan? Sasuke turned. Do not butt in, he said. The grass ninja chuckled. So cold, Konoha ninja. I am something of a historian. I couldn't help but getting into a discussion revolving the history of the Uzumaki clan. It's rude to intrude, especially when you haven't introduced yourself. Oh, I'm sure that wouldn't matter in the forest. The smile did not slip from this person's face. If you don't have anything useful to say, then leave. The grass ninja chuckled, completely ignoring the rude tone that Sasuke had taken. I'm rather surprised that you need to ask about the Uzumakis. After all, they were a key component in the creation of Konoha. It was said that their strength was only matched by the Uchiha and Senju in that time. The Uzumaki Fuinjutsu was a quite fearsome art. Even your fourth Hokage used the Uzumaki knowledge and became feared as a yellow flash all across the world. A most valuable ally they were, but even they were not immune to tragedy. All of their mythical strong chakra was not enough to stop them from being slaughtered. As Naruto's eyes narrowed at the way the person gestured the words, the Uzumakis fought for a long week, but this person made it seem like they were slaughtered in one night. A kunai was thrown through the air and sliced the tag off the Kusanin hat. The grass ninja did not even flinch in the slightest. Instead, it simply smiled wider. Madara did not look pleased with being ignored. As she smiled, I think you better go back to your team, Grassy-chan, she said. Oh, of course, Proctor-san. That was creepy, said Sakura, as Naruto nodded. Alright, Genin's uncle said. Listen up. As uncle explained the rules briefly, a lot of them seemed rather upset that they could be in there for 5 days. Line up, each team will be given a scroll and number gate that they will be starting at. Naruto and his team were given a heaven scroll, as uncle decided to play a little trick on them. You're letting us run a marathon to get to our gate, Naruto asked, his lip twitching. Punishment for almost spoiling my senpai test 2 hours ago. As Naruto figured that she was talking about the scar face and his first exam. Anything else, stupid Jenny, she asked. Do your mother let you go out dressed like that? Not that I'm complaining, but Team 7 was forced to flee away as she started chuck kunais at them. Time skip. Team 7 approached some of the weaker teams in the first day, but they made no effort to kill them. Exchange in them living, giving their scrolls to them. So they obtained 3 heaven scrolls now, the one that they started with, and the 2 that they obtained yesterday. We're developing quite the collection, Sasuke said. I hope we get more heaven scrolls, he taunted. Please don't jinx us. Knowing our luck, that might just happen. However, said Naruto, if we do get all of the heaven scrolls, then no one would pass. Anyway, he said, listen up, as he became serious. There was this girl, red-haired with glasses. She's a part of the grass team. I'm gonna abduct her, said Naruto. The group was silent for a while. What? Said Sakura. Why the hell would you want to abduct someone? She's a Uzumaki. I'm starting off it, said Naruto. I'll grab her and keep her away from the grass, by any means necessary. You know damn well it's not that easy, said Sasuke. You can't just take a foreign kunoichi. Look what happened to Kumo the last time they tried. It would be an international disaster for Konoha. Family or not, you can't just make rogue efforts for the sake of bolstering your clan. You could be arrested for sabotaging Konoha, or probably worse. Naruto was inwardly disturbed about Sasuke's outlook on this situation. Surely he of all people would understand the desire of uniting with your clan mates and protecting her from these scum foreigners. I damn well can take her when she's my family, said Naruto. Sakura started to panic a bit as Sasuke glared right back. Do you even understand what you're saying, you imbecile? I understand perfectly. Konoha has a duty and obligation to save Uzumaki refugees, and I'm going to make sure that agreement and alliance is still being honored. We could go to war with the hidden grass. Innocent Konoha shinobi could die at the hands of one girl. The branch that they were standing on started to crack as Naruto released his chakra. Then I will slaughter those pigs myself. I will kill anyone who dare to defy me, he said. Sasuke gripped his shirt and looked him aggressively in the eyes. My brother murdered my clan to get what he wanted. An action like this will put innocent people on the line. Are you willing to have that on your Sasuke was cut off as Naruto gripped him by the throat and lifted him off the branch with one hand. Do not compare me to a traitor that murders family and betrays village. My decision to save that girl does not satisfy my desire to only protect her, but it fulfills the agreement between the Uzumaki clan and Konoha, and it also strengthened Konoha by increasing the population of one of the premier clans and their bloodlines. Her home is with her family, not in an enemy nation where she will only be used to aid in the destruction of Konoha shinobis. As Naruto threw Sasuke in the trunk of the tree, Konoha has an obligation, said Naruto. Sasuke coughed. What makes you even think that she wants to be saved? What makes you think that Konoha won't just cut you loose? You might be strong, Naruto, but you overestimate your value to this village. If the higher ups think that you're not worth the trouble, then you will be all alone against the entire village. Sometimes people don't know what is best for them, and as the strongest, it's my right to decide it, said Naruto. I'm selfish enough to pursue my desires, and I will take on the whole world in order to get what I want. You're mad, said Sasuke, as they were surprised at the selfishness and the cheerful arrogance that Naruto was displaying, only from the perspective of a weakling. You disappoint me. You of all people should understand me right now. As Naruto turned his gaze as he felt it, as he saw the incoming. Get down! The jutsu slammed into their branch and cracked it as it fell. Team 7 was forced to leap as the wind jutsu break the tree apart. As Naruto used his sensory ability to sense, it was a grass ninja that spoke to them yesterday. Several more chakra types, non-human, as he noticed a poof summoning animals. Who the hell is this person? As he felt the creatures moving fast, they were far too quick, he need to act. This grass genin is definitely not a genin. As Naruto jumped as he flushed away chakra through his lungs. Fire style! The jutsu expanded as it moved towards the tree where the summons were coming. A gigantic snake fell, burned rather badly. Naruto's eyes widened as he realized who the hell they were dealing with. This was not someone he could fight if he concealed himself. We need to run, he said, as half a dozen more snakes wrapped around the tree that they were on and started to climb it. Two blue chains jetted from Naruto's back. The tips of them are gold, as they rip through the head of the snakes, as it dispelled them rather easily. The snakes learned from the failure of the other two as they went under the branches. Go now, Naruto yelled, as they leaped from branch to branch. The tree that they were about to leap to had a massive snake already curled around it, as Naruto sent a blinding chain from his palm. However, a hand reached out of the snake's mouth and grabbed the chain. Right beneath the end, a familiar figure climbed out of the snake. There is only one person that Naruto knew that was so in tune with snakes. Well, Naruto-kun, I see that your Uzumaki blood runs true. Orochimaru, said Naruto as he retracted his chain. He tried to, but the snake saw him, yanked it, pulling him off the branch. Wind style, the Tapa. He blasted Naruto while he was in mid-air, as he was sent sailing into the darkness of the forest. Now, where was I? As Orochimaru laughed, looking towards the other two, who were quite fearful. Naruto slammed into a thick tree as he winced in pain. However, he pulled himself out as he concealed his chakra and moved, so he can move in a surprise. However, 6 giant snakes, they tracked his scent. He didn't have time to play around. His eyes activated. Amaterasu, he said, as black flames swallowed the snakes. Back over to the fight, Orochimaru had to move quick. So, he moved quick. He retracted his fangs from the screaming Uchiha, who collapsed on the ground. Sakura saw that she threw anything in her pouch, while she could handle the normal genins that might come their way. This guy was on a whole different level. Leave us alone, she said. She threw everything she had sharp. Of course, my dear. He will seek me out by his own accord. Now I really must be going. Do take care of Sasuke-kun for me, now won't you? If you won't, and if you don't, well, things might end up really badly for you. As a massive snake appeared a distance away. As it rushed towards Sakura, her eyes went wide in fear, however it stopped. The mouth opened up. Orochimaru looked on stunned. What? As Naruto stood there, as Naruto handed out the finish hand sign, he spewed out a massive dragon flame head. He was quick to leap away. As he landed a child, used another jutsu like that, he thought. That jutsu was near the head of that snake. And he could also sense again jutsu on the snake as well, keeping it in line. The child's eyes were shut. As Naruto spewed out another massive dragon flaming head, Orochimaru was shocked. Again? Perhaps this boy's strength would make Sasuke crave more power, perhaps. He didn't need to manipulate things like he thought. Before the fire jutsu turned to ashes, he leaped up to the highest branch. Most impressive, Naruto-kun, he said. I see that Sasuke has much to live up to. If he wants to use you as a stepping stone, perhaps I'll test you a little more. I am always in need of strong disciples after all. Die, you filth, said Naruto, as he jumped from the snake's mouth. A large blue ribcage appeared around him as the hands picked up Sasuke and Sakura, while the snake rushed towards Orochimaru to devour him. An intriguing jutsu. Orochimaru dispelled the summoned blade from his mouth. As Orochimaru chased after the group, he swung his long blade at the group. However, the group switched with a clone of Naruto. As the blade sliced the clone and he poofed away, Orochimaru stopped as he grinned. A most interesting child you are, Naruto-kun, he thought, with a bright smile on his face. A distance away, Naruto cut off flow to the Sharingan as the Susanoo faded. Instead he threw up a spear of chains. A thin translucent barrier formed between them. It took on the flow of what his chakra is currently giving off, hiding his chakra so it became invisible. The sun is out of sensor range, meaning that you're safe right now, but the noise coming from Sasuke, that escaped his barrier though. But after a few minutes the Uchiha passed out. Sakura is barely lucid and she was sobbing. Sakura, he says, he held on to her. Listen to me. She nodded weak and shakily. I need you to diagnose Sasuke with medical ninjutsu. Figure out why he's hurt. Focus on him. With a weak nod she went through hand sign as her hands started to glow green. He has a bite wound on his shoulder and some strange pattern mark. I don't know, she said. I don't know what's wrong with him. Naruto tried to calm her down, but she dropped her head in the crook of his shoulder as she cried. As he held on to her. That's at least a start. Time skip. He maintained the barrier for at least a full day, but even his monster reserves start to wane. Damn it, he cursed, as the barrier started to fizzle. As he retracted the chains to conserve what remains of his chakra. The mutual substitution he performed with his clones to get out of there had taken away a chunk of his chakra, not to mention the range that he did it. And the adamantine chains and the Mangetia was not a pretty picture either on his chakra reserves. The food rations that he was eating was not enough to make him recover his chakra, at least Sasuke while unconscious, still able to swallow them though. As he hoped the gel mixture would be able to hydrate Sasuke, but he knew they need to find water very soon. Sakura is recovered mentally though. You need to get some sleep, Naruto, she said. Don't worry, I'll keep watch. The idea of sleep sounds rather pleasing now. Wake me when you need me. As he dropped his head right in her lap, she brushed his hair out of his eyes. As she looked down towards him, I will, she said. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification to stay posted, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of Anime King 2 and Anime King 3. Yes guys, if you're new, I do have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if every single day for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, go ahead and check out those, and I hope you really do enjoy. So without further ado, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace guys.